What is up, YouTube? It's your girl Evelyn, and today I want to highlight some upcoming shows and films featuring queer lady characters. So sit back, enjoy the video, and if there are any upcoming shows or films I've missed, please let me know in the comments.
Is that bitch o'clock? Yeah, it's thick.
The Book of Queer is a super gay musical sketch show that shines a light on the many groundbreaking queer people throughout history.
History, comedy, and music, and bringing it all together to give the world's first queer variety show.
The show highlights well-known historical figures like Sappho, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Joan of Arc, as well as those you might not have realized were queer, like Sally Ride, Ma Rainey, and Josephine Baker. Of course, the Book of Queer also includes men, but I'm just listing the ladies because that's what I do. But the show is definitely super inclusive. Based on the trailer, the skits seem to be drunk history adjacent. They're silly, but also educational reenactments. Also, the entire cast is LGBTQ+, and every show closes with an original song by a queer artist, like Vincent and Betty Who. The Book of Queer seems like a fun, informative show that is long overdue, and you can stream it June 1st on Discovery+. After Blue is a sci-fi, western, erotic, body horror, art house film that takes place in the distant future on an all-female inhabited planet called After Blue, which looks like what an acid trip feels like, I assume.
C'est quoi ça? Sors-moi. Si tu me sors de là, je ferai naître tes désirs enfouis.
The main character is Roxy, a lonely teenager who unwittingly releases a very dangerous, but more importantly, a very sensual assassin named Kate Bush from her in-ground prison. As punishment, Roxy is banished from her community until she can recapture the deadly Kate Bush, and of course, sexy, dirty, haunted, vengeful spirit shenanigans ensue. So, based on everything I've read about this film, it is very strange, to say the least. But I'll be honest, I really like the plot, and even though the movie looks like LSD,
I would like to see it.
If you're also intrigued by After Blue, or you just do a lot of drugs, you can check it out June 3rd in limited theaters. When I first heard about the new HBO limited series Irma Vep, I was excited because it stars my girl, Laura Croft, and she's playing gay while wearing a catsuit.
Let's go, lesbians!
Then I found out Irma Vep is a remake of a 1996 film of the same name, directed by this guy, Olivier Assayas, the same guy who directed Clouds of Sils Maria, which I know many of you liked, but I did not. Most likely because I have the attention span of a gnat.
I'm so sick of being the superhero.
But blockbusters just let you make movies you love.
I'll be Irma Vep.
This is the part she's been dying to play.
Irma Vep is about a disillusioned American movie star who goes to France to star in the remake of a 1915 silent film called Les Vampires, which, fun fact, is 7 hours long.
Wow.
Also, not about vampires. Needless to say, Irma Vep was about to get yeeted off my watch list, but then I read a Variety interview with Alicia about the culture of fame and celebrity in our society, a topic I am, for some reason, obsessed with. In fact, I'm currently reading a book called Fame by Justine Bateman, and if you're an old like me, you might remember Justine as Mallory from Family Ties. Her perspective on fame is fascinating and a little devastating. But anyway, Irma Vep is now back on my watch list, and I'll be tuning into HBO Max on June 6th to see if it's, not boring. The lesbian vampire series we've all been waiting for is finally here. Based on the short story from the anthology Vampires Never Get Old, Tales with a Fresh Bite, First Kill is about Juliet, a teen vampire who must make her coming-of-age first kill. So of course, Juliet picks Calliope, a sexy and mysterious new girl who happens to be a vampire slayer, also on the hunt for her first kill.
It's Juliet, right?
Yeah, you're Calliope?
Well, Cal's good.
Who are you, Calliope?
You're nothing like the monsters I grew up hating.
I was a little surprised when I saw that First Kill is rated TVMA, because the trailer looks like it was cut by the CW. And that is no shade to the CW. I love the CW, but they're not exactly known for their gritty and overly graphic shows, which I think is the vibe First Kill is going for, at least based on its rating. But something I do like about the show is it's set in Savannah, Georgia, because in my horribly biased opinion, vampire content set in the southern United States is superior. I'm sorry, but the Pacific Northwest is not creepy. It is pretty though, and full of lesbians. Anywho, hopefully the show is better than its potentially misleading trailer, but I guess we'll find out June 10th on Netflix. And make sure to check out the pinned comment on this video for even more shows that may feature queer characters that are returning in June.
Make up your mind, and I'll make
Only Murders in the Building is about 3 crime-obsessed neighbors who start their own true crime podcast to investigate an actual murder that takes place in their building.
We've been warned not to speak out.
But we here at Only Murders in the Building, we will not be going quietly.
Now, I've never watched Only Murders in the Building, but apparently the show is a very smart and funny take on society's current obsession with true crime, as seen by the proliferation of YouTube videos and podcasts on the subject. The show also tackles the icky factor of true crime as entertainment and the backlash that's beginning to occur. But obviously, the most important thing about this show is that it might get a little gay in season 2. Reportedly, Cara Delevingne will be joining the cast in season 2 as a potential love interest for Selena Gomez's character. To those of you who've watched season 1, definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. And you can catch season 2 of Only Murders in the Building June 28th on Netflix.
I want my money back. I'm down there drowning in your fat.
Neptune Frost is a queer, musical sci-fi film that takes place in a Rwandan village made of computer parts, I think. And it's about the relationship between an intersex runaway and a coltan miner. Coltan being a rare metallic ore mostly used to make electronics. Anywho, their relationship somehow creates a hacker collective, like Anonymous, which leads to revolution, I think. Did I mention it's a musical?
Mother and father were binary stars.
As someone who loves Strange Frame, Love and Sax, another queer sci-fi dystopian musical, I'm intrigued. And the film is definitely queer, but I'm not sure if it's of the lady-on-lady variety. Neptune, the main character, is kind of intersex. I believe they are able to change their gender at will. And there's a male actor and a female actor who play Neptune at different times in the film. So yeah, this is a weird movie, but I like weird. And if you too enjoy weird and happen to be in New York City June 3rd, you can catch its premiere. But Neptune Frost definitely feels like a limited theatrical release kind of film. So make sure to check your local listings to see when or if it's coming to your city. If you're a longtime subscriber of the channel, you're well aware that your girl knows almost nothing about Marvel and refuses to learn.
It is what it is.
Kamala Khan is Miss Marvel, and it is Kamala, not Kamala, which is definitely something I knew before I recorded and started editing this video. Kamala is somewhat of a teenage outcast who idolizes the Avengers, specifically Captain Marvel. So when Kamala gets her own set of superpowers, she's thrilled, but soon finds out that being a superhero isn't all it's cracked up to be.
Maybe they're right. I spend too much time in Fantasyland. I always thought I wanted this kind of life. I never imagined any of this.
Kamala herself isn't gay, but in the comic, her best friend Zoe Zimmer is. But we don't yet know if Zoe will be gay in the show, especially because the show has made other changes, like Kamala's superpowers. In the comic, she's polymorphous, like Stretch Armstrong.
He stretches and bends, but always returns to his original.
Obviously, that would look super silly in a live-action show. So instead of being super stretchy, Kamala has a bracelet that does stuff. I have to say, I love the trailer for Miss Marvel, and not just because Blinding Lights by The Weeknd is blaring throughout the entire thing, but because it looks funny and cute and kick-ass. And you can catch the premiere of Miss Marvel June 8th on Disney+.
Where have you been all my life?
Queer as Folk is back for its third iteration, giving us a remix for the new generation.
Dropping bars.
The new series is set in one of my favorite cities in the world, the seductive, spicy, and supernatural New Orleans, and follows a brand new cast of queers, but mirrors a few of the same plots as the previous show.
That night, this entire part of myself that made me feel okay is gone.
We cannot do this without you, Ruthie.
Now, I'm not saying I'm too old to watch the Queer as Folk reboot, but it seems like the show is targeting younger millennials and Gen Z, which I think is a great thing. The reboot is way more diverse in respect to gender and race than previous versions, and I just think they're trying to give the kids what they want, which is less labels, better trans representation, and iconic women in their 50s and 60s. You can catch the premiere of Queer as Folk June 9th on Peacock TV. That is it for the list. I want to give a quick shout out to my newest patron, Crystal Lee. I also have to shout out my big spender patrons, Angel, Citizen Ruth, Melissa, and Jose. Also, later this week, I'll be reviewing Crush and Parallel Mothers over on Patreon, so if you're interested, you might want to consider joining. You also might want to consider subscribing to my second channel, Ridiculous Recaps. The first video will be dropping this month, so be on the lookout. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.